Welcome friends to a new video summary of PlayStation Plus Extra, Deluxe, and Premium. I don't have PlayStation Plus Extra, so I'm leaving the video right now. Don't leave, because in today's video we're going to talk about new titles. Maybe you don't have the service, but you might be interested in discovering them. I hope that with that, people who don't have PlayStation Plus Extra will stay, really. In today's video, we're going to talk about some very interesting titles, and even premieres that are released on PlayStation Plus Extra but are also released on other platforms. Well, that's what we're going to do in today's video. We'll go over the new titles on PlayStation Plus Extra, Deluxe, and Premium, and also talk about new titles along the way. I'll spoil it for you right now. If you're a subscriber to the service, well, don't expect this to be a great month because not many games are being added and there aren't any big titles either. And to be honest, there's not much worth highlighting, but it's also true that there are a few things worth mentioning. All the games I'm going to review for you next will be added to the Extra, Deluxe, and Premium catalog starting June 17th. And all of them, except for the very first one, are already available. So if you're interested, you've just discovered them, or you want to get them on another platform, go ahead. And we start today's video with the big premiere of PlayStation Plus Extra with the biggest releases of the month and the new launch FBC, the Firebreak. A title that, by the way, is launching on PlayStation Plus Extra and is also launching on Game Pass Ultimate. Well, this title, besides being a day one release on both services, is Remedy's new bet to join the world of online multiplayer games. You know Remedy, the creators of Control, the creators of Alan Wake, or Max Payne. In fact, right now Remedy is working on Max Payne 1 and 2 remake. Well, while they're developing these remakes, these guys decided to launch an online multiplayer to see how they do in this world. This video game is set in the same world as the video game Control, and in fact, this game takes place in the Memorial House, which is the same house we explored during the game Control. But 6 years after the events of the first title. The thing is that right after the first video game, the Memorial House was left a complete mess. And this whole huge place that contains objects of power and who knows what else, all sorts of paranormal things got out of control, and many of these objects of power are loose out there. Because the effects of the HRA are still present in the Memorial House. Well, that's where we come in. We belong to Firebreak, a containment squad that goes into the Federal Bureau of Control to effectively contain these unleashed phenomena. We will prepare ourselves with the necessary weapons and tools, and we will carry out raids with up to 3 players, in which we will go in to tame these phenomena. From Remedy, they propose 2 very clear things. First of all, fast gameplay that isn't hindered by battle passes, microtransactions, and all those annoying things. And secondly, they propose a challenging experience that gives way to imaginative responses. Remedy says it's not just about going in and shooting, but about creating a strategy and solving things by improvising with what the environment gives us to fight these phenomena. On paper, the video game seems like it would be a lot of fun, although on paper, everyone who releases an online multiplayer always promises you the same thing. That it's going to be imaginative, that it's going to be fresh, that it's going to be dynamic, and that you're going to have fun. Then we'll have to see if that promise is kept. FBC from Firebreak is going to have full crossplay between PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. So no matter which platform you play it on, there's surely going to be a good number of people playing. Since it's launching day one on PlayStation Plus and also on Game Pass, at launch, this video game didn't have a kill counter, didn't have a campaign. Well, actually, it still doesn't have a campaign, and it didn't even have voice chat. The criticism directed at Electronic Arts over this video game was so strong that Electronic Arts completely cancelled the original roadmap for the game and laid off a lot of people. In fact, the community brought this game back to life thanks to the Portal mode, where you can create matches with crazy rules. And nowadays, you could say that with the fixes Electronic Arts made, and with the Portal mode, the game has more or less come back to life. This is Battlefield 2042, the latest Battlefield to come to the service to try to attract new audiences. You already know how this goes, right? And it comes along with the 7th season, which actually launched quite a while ago. This season brought new content, new maps, new weapons, crossplay, the Portal mode, active servers, and I don't know what else, so many things. By the way, Battlefield 2042 won't have any more seasons. There won't be an 8th season, not at all. Because Electronic Arts is already working on the next Battlefield and they're abandoning this one. They're going to keep the servers active, they're going to keep some content, but there won't be any more seasons. There aren't many reasons for me to convince you to play Battlefield 2042, but I can tell you that if you tried it when it first came out and you didn't like it, but you were somewhat interested, then give it another chance. Because right now it's a lot better than when it was released. This video game debuted on December 14th, 2023 on Virtual Reality on PC and also on PlayStation Virtual Reality 2 on PlayStation 5. And this is the sequel to Help Wanted 1, a title that although it was released for virtual reality, today you can play it both in virtual reality and on a flat screen that is on your regular television. So if you have virtual reality on the PlayStation 5 or you play traditionally, you'll be able to play it either way. The title is a classic Five Nights at Freddy's, which offers more than 100 mini-games and up to 80 different animatronics. And a new story that comes to complement the lore of this saga, lore that I have absolutely no idea about. So I can't tell you anything interesting, I'm just letting you know that there's a new Five Nights at Freddy's in the catalog. The Hunter Call of the Wild is a first-person hunting simulator. In fact, they say it's really good in its genre. And they also say it's famous for its open world, which is quite large and realistic, where you can hunt any kind of animal. And I say, they say, because honestly, I didn't play it enough to give you a personal review. The game is pretty old. It was released in 2017, but since then they've released a lot of DLCs and extra content. In fact, the last big downloadable content this video game got was released just 10 days ago. It's just a downloadable content. I think it adds a region of Canada with beavers, deer, and I don't know what else, a bunch of things you can hunt. The game doesn't have a campaign as such, but rather it has different missions divided into different parks, nature reserves, and things like that. Where, well, are you going to kill digital animals? And it has multiplayer for up to 8 players. If you were curious about hunting video games or you like camping enemies that can't defend themselves, well, maybe this is your game. Next, we have another game, one of those very specific simulation games, which is loved by its audience, but for the rest of us, those of us who are normal people, we don't exactly understand what's so fun about playing it, but here it is. This is Train Sim World 5, which, just like the previous game, is a constantly evolving and updating franchise. Here you don't hunt animals, instead you drive trains. Real trains on real routes in London, Frankfurt, Los Angeles, and I think Japan as well. Well, you accelerate, brake, open doors, control the entire journey. There's a story mode, free roam, and new routes and trains are constantly being added. And there's a simulator that's supposed to be the most complete, new, and up-to-date train simulator you could ever play. Why would you play a train simulator? I don't know, maybe because you find trains fun. I like trains, but well, this is kind of a bit too much. This video game is a remaster of We Love Katamari from 2005 with the addition of a new extra mode where you control the young king in new remix levels with very high difficulty and exclusive rewards. And your mission in this video game is as simple as it is crazy: to roll things up with your Katamari, which is a sticky sphere, to make it bigger and bigger, and as it grows you can catch more objects, bigger ones. And like that, until you absorb entire galaxies. It's a skill game, also a puzzle, you could say, and about physics. Well, an old game, remastered, here you are seeing it. If you played the original, maybe this will bring back memories. If you want to play this new one, and if not, well, there it is. This video game was created by Mr. Yoshitaka Murayama, who was the director of Suikoden I and II, and this title was funded as a spiritual successor to Suikoden through Kickstarter. This is Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes, and it's a classic Japanese role-playing game with a strong 1990s vibe. Turn-based combat with teams of up to 6 heroes with more than 100 possible heroes for you to recruit. That's where the game's name comes from. If you're in the mood to dive into a turn-based Japanese role-playing game that lasts almost 100 hours, go ahead and enjoy. The game's story tells the typical hero tale about a group of 3 heroes who join forces to defend their kingdom from another kingdom. And I don't know what else, a bunch of other things. Endless Dungeon is a tactical roguelite that combines elements of tower defense with dual-stick shooter and real-time roguelite gameplay. In this video game, you control a team of 2 to 3 heroes, and the goal of this game is to find a crystal. From the space station to its exit, opening doors and defending yourself from hordes of enemies. Each level is procedurally generated, and different resources, weapons, abilities, and items appear for you to add to your team as you try to reach the final objective. You already know classic roguelite style. When you finish a run, whether you win or not, you keep some advantage for the next one. And so on and so on and so on. What's interesting about this video game is that it's a roguelite with some tower defense elements, plus you can play it in local co-op with up to 3 players. Each player controls a different character, but you can also play solo. If you do, the characters you don't control will be handled by the artificial intelligence. It's a good title if you want to try something different. And maybe you are bored with the same old genres? And finally, we have Deus Ex, The Conspiracy. I don't know how to pronounce it. And role-playing game shooter that mixed action, stealth, and choices and was released more than 20 years ago. And it's the one being added to the PlayStation Plus Premium catalog. It's old, but if you like games with real freedom, real immersion, and a lot of realism. But from the 2000s, here's a game. What do you think? What do you think about the catalog? It's really good. Honestly, it's not bad at all. We're really grateful for Firebreak's FBS, so we don't have to buy it and can try it out. Because honestly, there's a lot of trust placed in Remedy. A lot, really. There's a big vote of confidence placed in Remedy. The heat got to me. And it seems like these people want to do things right. They want to be good at multiplayer without taking advantage of people. The one from Juden Chronicles is really good. Maybe someone will be interested. If you like JRPGs, Endless Dungeon is worth trying. And after that, I don't know what to say. Battlefield 2042 costs $4. They give it away all the time. And besides, Electronic Arts is abandoning it. Maybe it's a metaphor for what Sony is doing with the service. Hey, we already know that services like this don't last. It's not always about the new things being added, but about the old stuff that's already in the catalog for you to play. But once again, it seems like these services aren't focused on those of us who already have a library. On PlayStation, or we've already been playing for several years. Because again, when it comes to new stuff, there's never much. Let me know in the comments what you think about this month. Do you find it interesting? Is it worth downloading FBC from Firebreak? Or not even that. And if you're going to be playing, let me know in the comments because I'm interested to know. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Subscribe to this channel. Bye.